Hello everyone, and welcome back to our Beastman campaign with Molokh Slugtongue. Last episode, we finished things off with Gore the Earthshaker and his horde being attacked by an army of dwarves from Clan Drazkarazk, or Karagnern in the vanilla game. Now, I have to say as we go into this battle, just look how disgusting the world looks in the beast paths. I mean, you can see these oozing flesh coming from the trees and around us. Very much like cysts and boils. It's just really, you know? But, start things off, if I come away from these guys a minute, the ogres is charging through in order to get first dibs on the meat in front of them. If I lift things up a bit, what has happened is the enemy have actually come towards us because we are the defenders in the battle, but it's not going to work for us getting shot to pieces by the enemy artillery as well as their ranged units, so I've charged forward instead. What I was hoping to try and do was actually to try and pin the enemy in a few places. If they were able to come up here, for example, we could actually stop them here and then try and circle them, and likewise if we were able to do anything on this side. Unfortunately though, it's not going to work like that, but we are going to be able to pin some of them in position around here. And that's something we need to do, because the dwarves one-on-one are much better than nearly anything I've got. So all I can do is really just hold them in place and see how much damage I can do to them with other units coming into support. So, as you saw when we were actually zoomed in and following that unit, I've got, Pan's Impenetrable Pelt being cast by my wizard in order to stop the grudge throwers from doing too much damage to them. And you can already see Desarius, the Flesh Eater, charging forward. Maybe you get a little bit distracted, maybe he smelt something there. But his target was actually going to be going after their lord, Alaric Ranulfson. Because if we can defeat him, it's going to give the enemy massive morale penalties, which can only help us out. Now, at this point now, the enemy's crawlers are starting to fire already. And if we pull back a little bit, you can see the entire force is charging forward at this point. Another spell just to upgrade our armor and weapon damage as we make the charge in, with the ogres leading the way. Now, they're going to be swinging away, and what's happening over on this side is... I might as well keep the game going a bit, eh? I've got my harpies coming in to attack their grudge throwers, and I've got my 3 units of warhounds rushing around to attack them from the rear. Once we've cleared those up, we can go after the enemy in rear charges and just do as much damage as we can to them. Now over here, you can see Desarius just going to town against the dwarf warriors with some gores coming in to support. It's a very tough fight. Like I said, my troops are not going to be able to match the dwarves one-on-one, so we have to try and be as cunning as we can and use what strengths we do have, which is mainly in our characters. Now, he's just going to town against the enemy dwarf warriors that were leading the charge. You can see the ogres are not having a good time against these slayers, but in particular. I didn't realise that's what they were fighting initially, but yeah, not going too well for them, is it? We got Vison's Wild Form just providing some extra armour. And you can see now my lord is actually joining in the attack finally. I've got him actually going after the enemy general here. And if we look here, we've got a Feast of Crows just doing some damage against the enemy. And some, wow, dwarves getting catapulted because of Desarius. Now while that's all going on, if I slow things down a little bit more, we've got my Ungol Raiders just firing into the melee. I had them mainly focusing their fire on the Slayers because of their lack of armor, and figured that will be their best target, and if they can hit and wound any of the other ones nearby, that will work out great. Now unfortunately, this unit of ogres is not having a good time. You can see that they are large infantry, so the fact they're going up against Slayers, which I didn't realise until I fought this battle in replay, hasn't gone too well in their favour. In fact, we will lose this one unit, but it's just one of those things. In the meantime though, up on the ridge here, I just wanted to show off quickly. There was originally 2 units of dwarves, but one of them came down to sort of re-attack down here. So what I've ended up doing is sending my Ungors in to attack them and hold the Longbeards in place, and brought in the Gore Herder Great Weapons to attack them from the rear. Now, nevertheless, they are holding on extremely well. They are very experienced Longbeards after all, not just in age, but in combat skill. But while that's going on then, I've got my faster units, my Harpies and my Warhounds, just going after the enemy's missile troops way in the back and doing whatever damage I can. If I can free these up, it would be great for me just to focus and do as many rear charges as I can on the enemy's position. Now over here they've got some Thunderers pulling out. They are all getting damaged, as you can see by the Flock of Doom. Just trying to do what I can, like I said, to do as much damage as possible, while using my Shaman to buff up my troops every opportunity I get. You'll see me every so often casting a spell just in order to give us that extra armor protection or armor penetration as per needed. Now if we zoom into the back melee here a second, you can see the enemy's Lord Alaric Warloksson taking on my Beast Lord Gore, and it's not going too well for the Lord. He's losing decisively, taking a ton of damage. Desires is going to town against the enemy dwarves, and it won't be too long until that general starts to retreat. The only thing is, in fact, he's retreating now. The only thing is, I want him dead, or wounded as he is the faction leader, in order for us to get that morale penalty. So I've still got my Beast Lord chasing after him and doing what damage we can, but that's already going to cause some penalties to enemy morale as he is running away. We now get a notification, of course, the Lord is wounded, and leadership now is starting to not look so good for the dwarves. You can see all of a sudden they are starting to drop around the melee here. Unfortunately, we have my ogre that was fighting the Slayers now running away, but his kinsmen are still hanging on in here in the other unit, doing some damage, but not as much as I would perhaps like. Harpies are now coming in to do attack there. Over here, I had them originally running up here to do some damage, so if I zoom in a second, you might notice the odd Warhound down here. But generally, these Longbeards are still hanging on in there, despite the odds. They just do not know when to stop grumbling, do they? Anyway, speed things up again. Now we're just basically got this big thick line of dwarves to try and break through. And we've got a number of troops that are capable of doing it, with arrows firing in as well. But luckily for me now, on their right flank, or our right flank, we managed to break the line. So Desarius is now charging in just to chase after a couple of units, but I figured with them retreating, we can send the faster units after them. And so Desarius is going to charge right into the rear of this Longbeard unit, sending a few bodies flying and causing others to explode in a flash of gore. Now swinging over here a second, you can already see now the victory is mine. Last couple of units are just hanging on in there for that last little bit, and all of a sudden, we've won the fight. All I'm going to do now is chase down as many of the enemy as we possibly can so that we can go after their settlement in the following turn. So, yeah, at this point, I think we can safely say we can go back to the campaign map. So there we go, a Pyrrhic victory, and I have to say that was a tense battle. I'm glad we managed to get out of it in relatively one piece. I'm actually surprised it didn't take more losses. We did lose one unit of ogres, but it's okay. But yeah, I have to say I'm really happy. And I'm going to stop saying I have to say, because, yeah. Anyway, the enemy managed to get away with 2 units of Longbeards. Not much I could do about them. But what do I want to do with the survivors? I think we'll devour them, try and get a bit of extra replenishments, and then see what ends up happening next. Now, you guys have retreated back there. That's fine by me. Oh, Forand Oforged. Okay. Molokh Slugtongue is going to have some fun now. So, sure, I'm more than happy to intercept his army. Decisive victory. Okay. What do I want? Let's take the captives again. What? Another one? Okay, I'll deal with this one then, I guess. There we go. No decisive victory. Sure, let's just take the Beastial Rage this time. But I think just like that, we've probably wiped out most of Karaknern's forces. That was surprisingly easier than I expected. Although it did help when they decided to try and use the underway to go past Molokh Slugtongue. So, yeah, I suppose it could have been much harder. I'm not going to complain though when the AI wants to do something like that. Anyway, with that, it's now my turn. Okay, so, yeah, unfortunately a reminder that I lost my Herdstone at Fieldorf last episode, but we will get that back soon enough. Ooh. The Blood Brood Behemoth, a Gorgon, eh? Such a ravenous appetite is never truly sated. Definitely going to be giving you to somebody. Challenge staff, a ritual challenge. What does that do? Oh, that sucks. -5 horde growth. Okay. Confident defender, a beard collector, brain. Okay, are we done yet? So many pop-ups. Okay, it looks like we're finished, right? Right? Yeah, okay. So, we managed to make quite a bit of favour out of that end turn phase, so definitely happy with that. Let's go with Molokh first of all, and attack Fildorf. Now we should be able to win this fairly easily, bearing in mind that the enemy did have, yeah, some Demigryph Knights, but it looks like it's going to be a close victory. We're going to lose any units. No, we're not. Let's go ahead and do that. Okay. We're going to raise a Herdstone. Oh, challenge complete. Which one was this? In your recent frenzy of violence and destruction, you wasted little time in bringing your victims to battle, and defeated them in quick succession. Oh, wait. This was the challenge we had to do where it was like win 4 fights in a single turn or something. Wow. Okay. Let me double check now. What does that give me as research? The Warherd Ravages. +10 campaign movements. Take it. I'd rather go for that than necessarily rush for the Minotaur units, which is very small at the moment. But there we go. Fildorf now belongs to me. We're in a position now, we could march down to Fort Sol, we can go for Wissenberg, we could even come over here and help out with Gore going up against Clan Drazkarak. Fad, how are you doing right now, and how you feel comfortable going up against the survivors here? I mean, they have got a tier 3 settlements, but nothing that looks like... Oh, a Master Engineer. Okay, but it doesn't actually have access to any main troops. They do have the Commander. To be honest though, I'd rather let him rest up for a turn. Get a bit of extra replenishments. In fact, you do have quite a bit of favour. Let's go into Hidden Encampment in a minute. And I think, in order to try and help against the Dwarves and their heavy armour, let's go and give you the Bloodbrute Behemoth. I know it's anti-large rather than anti-infantry, but I have not seen one of these myself yet, so I'm looking forward to seeing what it does. As for you, let's have a look. We could level 4 buildings, so we could go ahead straight away and give you one of our Khans. Now, I did read the comments of the last episode, and I saw that Anamund Pakala has requested that I give Zahatori, out of the 2 options really, the Khan of Change, the one for Zeech. So I think Gore here is going to get the Khan of Excess and become a follower of Slaanesh. And I suppose, if I have to be a little vulgar, the Earthshaker has more meanings than one now, doesn't it? Anyway, let's... what else can I give you? Well, I suppose if we're now going to go for a Slaanesh theme, I suppose it could be quite fitting that we go for some Centaurs for you. And even maybe go for some Minotaurs. Bear in mind, Minotaurs, as it says there, Minotaurs crave man-flesh the most. At the fire pits, mangling meat sizzles on crude spits, drawing the tribes. Getting a few of those could be quite useful. So yeah, we'll give you that as well. Now, we'll let you guys measure up for a little bit. We got enough units for now. When we get the opportunity to do so, I will get some Slangors to join the army. Check out what those are like. But you're now done over here. Let's actually build something here quickly. What do I necessarily want to go for? Out of these options, I think this time I'm not going to go for the Ruckin Pits. Just so we can get some extra defenders for the garrison. So yeah, you're done that, you're done that. Let's head over now to the World Edge Mountains. Where were we? Guys? Ah, here we are. Right. Now I have to admit, after fighting that battle with the Dwarves of Carrick-Herne, or Clan Drazkarak, I should say, I'm actually a little hesitant about even taking Zahatori here into a battle with these small armies. I mean, I'll tell you what, let's have you attack... Come out of the Beast Paths a minute. Let's have you attack Grim Burloksson here. Yeah, I mean, look at this. A valiant defeat. And it's not like the enemy have gone much. In fact, let's use Lightning Strike. a close victory. Wow. Even though the enemy have just got miners, which, yeah, they're armor piercing and that, but they're not necessarily the most powerful of units. Yet, it's still going to cause a lot of my troops to die in this fight. Yeah, let's fight the battle myself once again. See how we do. So here we are, guys, outside Mount Gunbad as we prepare to take on the very simple battle that's in front of us. All we got is the miners from the air, dwarves charging towards my line. I sent my Beastial to come forward just to be able to be the first ones into the combat. Actually, I just noticed, these are the Regiment of Renown, aren't they? I must say, I really like the blue on them. That looks really, really cool. Anyway, getting distracted a second. Something I've also done is brought forward Sir Hattori, because don't forget, he's got my favourite spell, the Pendulum. And given that the enemy has decided to charge forward in some relative lines, I figured I might as well move him forward and take advantage of the armor-piercing capabilities. Now, I was about to try and get this off, but unfortunately we just missed the other units, but we did a nice little bit of damage to this unit here already. Done a fair bit of health damage, but only killed one of them. Unfortunate, but one of those things. In the meantime, though, we've got some miners now taking damage from the mystifying miasma, and my beastmen are now charging in. We've got the advantage in pretty much every one of these fights, so I'm really not concerned. And just to help things out a little bit as well, I've got a number of units going around on each flank, ready to charge in. But one thing I wanted to try and do, just to boost up my kill count a bit with Hattori, is take advantage of the fact that, again, these troops are a nice one straight line like this, aren't they? So in a minute, when we can cast the spell, I'm going to just send it straight through and do a ton of damage to them. Now, you can also see over here, we've got Burloksson making his way over. In fact, just want to show off the spell right now. Ready, steady, boom! Look at that health just decimate, especially in that unit of miners there. Now over here, I've got Sneizehl of the Shadows making his way straight towards Scrim, just to try and engage him in combat. The fact is, he is trying to run away, and for whatever reason, it's not allowing me to catch up with him too quickly with the Shadows guy here. So I cast the Mystifying Miasma eventually after the Feebling Foe, just to try and slow him down a bit. There we go. Mystifying Miasma, here we are. And like that, what ends up just stops enough to give him time to pull out his axe, but we still whack him to the ground. And you can see in the distance that we've basically killed off all the miners. All we need to do now is try and chase down a few of them, but otherwise, really not much else for me to worry about. Now that was a hell of a blast. And he's still able to take a few shots against my troops in the distance. He's killed one person at least. But there we go. A duel between my champion and Burloksson. Now, of course, I could have brought in the rest of my troops to try and join in the fight, but I didn't want to do that. So what you actually notice in the background is I've ordered all my troops. If I zoom out a bit, you'll be able to see it better. I've ordered all my troops to basically surround the duel, just because I thought it'd be kind of cool to watch. So, if I let things continue once more, the enemy characters fight their way. You can see that Sneizehl has got the main advantage, it seems, against Grim. And I'm not against using a bit of magic to try and buff things in my favour. But the fight is continuing. Another headbutt there. But, oh, is he pulling out the gun? Nope, he's running away at this point. The battle is over at this point. Victory is mine. But I thought we'll see if we can try and kill him off before he makes his way back onto the campaign map. So at this particular point, I just ordered everybody to charge in. So all of a sudden, it's just got this comical moment when you've got this dwarf running away with a horde of the Beastmen. Whoever gets the killing blow, I should say, in gets first taste of that succulent dwarf flesh. Might be a little bit fatty though, but that's okay. Now you can see the Ungors are rushing ahead at that opportunity. One guy getting sent flying back then. Did you see that? But there we go. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to kill him off. He is able to get off the battlefield because once you get so many troops involved, it is difficult just to kill off one character. But again, a very easy victory for us this time round. Let's go back to the campaign map, eh? Well, that was a bit of a needless fight, in all honesty, but I'm glad we got a decisive victory, rather than a close one and the loss of 3 units. So, Burloksson can go and do a runner as far as I'm concerned. We'll take the extra replenishment. Give the game a second to decide what to do. And off he goes. All by their lonesome. Now that's fine by me. I'm going to lay siege to Mount Gunbad next. We've got a Trickster Shard, thank you. Let's attack Mount Gunbad. Now again, the game predicts a valiant defeat. I could probably win this relatively well, because it's going to be a siege assault. What we would need to do is attack the walls. But, you know what? I'm going to set up to build some equipment up, right? So we're going to do something like that. And then what I'm going to do is bring in Malagos, right? Now, where is he? Here. I'm going to get him to start making his way over using the beast paths in order to jump in and be able to help out, because then we can deal with them easily and continue making our way down towards the most important target of Khazar-Karak. Now, you know what, I just remembered, there was something I meant to do earlier and I forgot to do it. Now, last episode, I introduced my new name for the Jabberslave that we recruited over with Moloch's army for Powderness. Now, something I forgot to do, though, in the video, was actually share the guy's backstory. This one here. So, here we are, guys. For Powderness's backstory. Finally, after missing out on it last episode. Like I said, it was quite a cool one. I liked it, personally. But, yeah. That's sorted at least. I forgot to do it last time and I thought, better do it now. So there we go. There we go. Now, let's do some points assignments. So, Molokh, what can I give you, actually? We did finish off Fury of the Herd. So, is any of these worthwhile, do you think? I suppose freakish mutations could be useful for our Jabberslave. But we do have a couple of Centaurs in his army, so let's go for the leaders of the Vankus host instead. And for Dance, let's give you a natural first. And then for you, Galak, it looks like you've been doing that too. Have you finished all yours now? Yeah, basically. I mean, we could go for Indomitable, but I'm not that concerned about their leadership right now. Let's go instead, which one it is which. Let's go for this one, Missile Resistance. Okay, Kaznor the Earthshaker. Right. I feel you deserve to get your Razorgore chariot now. And then Zahatori. What do I want to go for with you? In fact, what have we got up here? Distorted Reality, what's this? A palpable miasma, fell sorcery surrounds the brave shaman, distorting and maiming reality. Reducing charge speed, normal speed, and melee attack as a passive ability. Take that. And then, let's go... We already got the Enfeebling Foe. Does it do it as an area of effect? It does not, just makes it last longer. Let's go then for the Wyvern. If we're fighting dwarves, I think it's really good if we can reduce their armor. So we'll go for that. Then Sneizehl of the Shadows. We're going to go Deadly Blade for you. Oh no, hang on. Replenish Troops and Deadly Blade. There we go. Alright, we got Horde Growth to do. I know we could upgrade it. I might actually... we'll spend the Favour to upgrade to a Pelt Totem. Actually, there's something else we could go for, which would be thematic for a Slaanesh army. It's this one, isn't it? Yeah. Cacophonous... Oh god, I can't say the bloody word today. Cacophonous Assault. We'll go with bloody that. Ugh. But, yeah, the fact that basically means really loud noises offsetting the enemy and distracting them. I feel, given Slaanesh's troop of choice in Warhammer 40k is Noise Marines, I think that could be a nice little addition. But there we go, that's Yunin done. And... yeah, let's end turn. Oh, you poor fool. Burloksson has decided to try and use the underway. Bad luck. What? What? I'm sorry, I just lost my 2 Ungor Raider units. What? He killed 279 of my men, essentially, by himself? I am shocked. He must have found one hell of a choke point in the underway to get that many kills. I'm actually very, very impressed. Wow. Well, despite his losses, Sir Hattori has managed to pick up Beard Hoarder. So, there we go. At least something came out of it. Solitary and then for Gore, which has given him extra casualty replenishment. Sure. Right, let's continue. You, good sir, let's jump you all the way down to here. In fact, if we get the right spot, you might be able to act as a reinforcement. So then you come here. If you attack now, it's a decisive victory. Saves me building up the siege equipment. We'll go for that. We will loot and raise. Picked him a Talisman of Protection, nice. And a Staff of Darkoff. This staff and welder are crawling with bugs and other nasties that could be sent forth on a whim. Minus 20% magical resistance for all enemies in the local region and Viletide 4 times. That could be really useful. And what's this? Grudge Killer. 10% research bonus. Okay, and cheaper buildings. Sure. That could work out really well for you. Let's have a look. Does it count as an enchanted item or forbidden? It is forbidden. To be honest, I'd rather stick with what he's got, because it allows him to get magic much more quickly. So let me just have a quick look. We will go for Gambler's Armor for you, sure. And I'll give you that as well. I need to give you a few things here as well. Let's give you this. Gift of Chaos. Molokh's got his hands on 2 of them, so I tell you what, you can get one. Because why not? And then you can have a Herdstone Keeper too. There we go. And then you, good sir, you're going to get that. You're going to get that. We'll give you an Opal Amulet as well. And a Torque. And then, let's have a look. Can't give you any of those, that's fine. Right, let's rest you up a minute. Because now we got the opportunity to upgrade to Hattori, which will, given the fact that he's a level 4 main encampment, can give us the Khan of Change, giving him access to Zagors. So we'll go ahead and give you that. You've already got the ability for the Shaman's Pyre. Let's go Pell Totem as well. And let's have a look. I think we'll go for you a Den, so we can eventually get Chaos Spawn and Feral Manticores. Both units of which I think are quite fitting for a Siege Fiend army. And I think that's really all we need. Pile of Flesh, maybe? More and mid dedications to the Plague Lord? Blech, not for you. Yeah, I think we'll stick with what we got there. We may end up giving him some more units. Maybe go for the Giant's Lair as well. Or we can just actually upgrade. Now we'll leave it actually. We do need some money in the bank still. So you get that. You... Let's take the opportunity to attack Handra Thunderstone now. Because you've got some replenishment done. Yeah, let's lay siege. So, close victory, casualties minimum. We will lose the Ogres and a unit of Ungors. Well, given what we're facing, I mean, the Longbeards will be tough, but given that they haven't got as much experience as the previous ones we defeated, I think we'll be okay. We do have the Thane and a Master Engineer to deal with. And 2 Thanes, I should say, as well as their Lords. These 2 are going to be the ones that will be a pain in the neck to deal with. Oh wow, really? We actually got a better chance of winning if it's not a lightning strike. Which is weird when you kind of think about it. You know what, we'll come back to you in just a second. Right. So, let's have a quick look over here. Bear in mind, the Empire during the return phase has brought a full stack down to Wissenberg. I wonder if we can use that to my advantage. Because hear me out. If we get Molokh here, let's make sure you're in ambush. Right. Let's move you outside the settlement slightly and set you up in hidden encampments. He's within reinforcement range of the Herdstone in case it gets attacked. But what I'm thinking then is anyone who's going to come and attack it is going to end up getting caught by him. So that could work out very much in my favour. I won't worry too much about this. Because the only... Well, I suppose it could come in handy for that, won't it? Sure, let's upgrade that. Given the amount of dread we've got, let's go Rewards of Dread a minute. Now, I do want to make sure we have some saved up for Gorse Warhoof. In fact, we could go from now to summon him. The enemy selected lord is currently inactive and will instead be added to your recruitment pool. That'd be fine by me. But the other thing I was looking at was we can get level 3 Herdstones straight off the bat. Purchase this if we wanted. I'll tell you what, let's grab that now. Because having the high level Herdstones, we'll be able to get a better garrison as well. So, Fieldorf. Wait, Fieldorf? You know, we just did that, don't you, game? Unless it kicks in next turn? Wait, I did just do that, did I not? Hang on. Yeah, new Herdstones are erected at level 3. When you do that, it means that you can upgrade all the other ones to level 3 for no cost. That's what it said. So why aren't you letting me do this game? Unless it only kicks in the next turn, maybe. Ugh, okay, sure. Right, in that case, let's head back down to here. And let's fight this battle. Right, see you guys down there yet again. So here we are, guys, for our third and final battle of today's episode. Now, for whatever reason, the AI has decided to do that thing they sometimes do, where they've tried to move their entire force over to the side of the map. Now, this could be because I deployed my force originally, taking advantage of our Vanguard deployment, to basically come across here, rather than the traditional one across there. So we had some troops a bit closer, but that might have been enough to scare them to move. But, well, I'm going to take advantage of it nevertheless. Now, one thing I do want to do, just to quickly showcase this guy to you, is over here we've got our Blood Brute Behemoth, the Gorgon. I have to say, it does look fearsome. Look at it. Ugh, you do not want to meet this thing in a dark alley, do you? Wow. All the little skulls, it's got a cattle bell around its neck. Oh, wow. All the skulls everywhere. I mean, look at that. It's even got skulls on its nose. Oh, God. Oh, God, it's going to bug me now. What's that bit off the armor called? Oh, you know when you know it, but you just don't know it right then. Ugh. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's not that important. It just looks really cool nonetheless, and he's charging straight towards the enemy line. If I speed things up a little bit, the enemy have left behind a unit of Quarrelers who have got some bonuses thanks to entrenchment. So they are not allowed to move, but they do have 20% physical resistance and extra armor piercing damage. That's not going to be enough though to stop Desarius, who's going to be charging straight towards them, getting peppered with bolts as he goes through, but there we go, one easy dive, bam! And just a explosion of blood to herald his arrival, and a few more then for good measure. Now as that happens, I've sent in the Behemoth to just charge straight towards the enemy lines. In the distance you can see my Warhounds are making their way around to flank the enemy position. The enemy have started sending a couple of their units to try and chase after them, but there's no way those dwarves can match up to my Warhounds. As that's going in, the rest of the force is just making their way over. I just want to watch this quickly with the charge. I don't think I've really sort of captured the true moments of an ogre charge. Now, it's really cool with the animations. You can see that for some of them, they've actually moving their bellies forward first, because part of their big thing is that they will charge forward and basically smash you with their gut plates. So the fact that he's charging forward with his stomach out is really cool. But then, of course, he has to rely on the traditional things, but it does send a few units flying nevertheless. Whee! Anyway, while that's happening, let me speed things up once more. You guys can see that my other units are just chasing down those units and trying to get them in position. The enemy do have a bunch of heroes. They have their Thane here, for example. Their Lord, I think, is back here. And their other Thane. But it doesn't want to tell us the names. Never mind. But while those ogres are going to town now, they have taken some damage from that previous fight. They haven't been able to replenish. But we've still got plenty of health for this fight, don't you worry. Now to help things out, of course, I'm making sure to buff up my spells, my units with spells, as well as debuff the enemy using the Flock of Doom as much as I can. So try not always particularly go for the Vissen's Wild Form. It's a very cheap spell. You can overcast it for 6 magic points, and the fact that it does do extra armor piercing damage, very, very useful. Now you can see that Gore has charged into combat now with the enemy's Lord, and it's actually originally fairly even between them. And eventually it actually goes against me a little bit. I was quite surprised to see that watching the combat, but while those two are dueling there, we can focus on everything else. Now you can see my Warhounds are just rushing around as wherever they can to do those rear charges, chasing down one unit, heading over to another one. The Harpies are doing the same just to try and debuff the enemy with some rear charges. The Miners already starting to retreat, as these will be too far behind. We got a Thane now just going to town against my Ungors, but they are expendable units, I just don't care about them. There's a couple of Gors in here I do care more about, but he's going to be swamped by my troops, don't you guys worry. Over here now you can see the Behemoth has just been going to town. It's not his main target of choice, he much prefers to go after anti-large, as you can see. In fact, one thing I did want to quickly check out. Scale and damage. The amount of damage this unit causes increases based on the amount of hit points that are... Oh right, so it's the same thing as the Deathmaster Snicked. So if you don't have much health, it does a bit of damage, but the more health you lose, the more damage you take. So once you start losing health, it's just a matter of time. And yeah, he is anti-large, but that's okay. I think he can do just as good a job against the Dwarves as he could do against larger foes. But there we go, we've managed to break their lines here and over here. The Master Engineer has broken and retreated. You can see my destroyers, the Drake Vault, have been chasing down an enemy unit over this side. And at this point again, victory is mine. Now given that this is a siege assault, I don't have to chase down the survivors this time, so we can just go back to the campaign map straight away. Well, that's a lot better. Decisive victory, no losses for my units. Did take a few casualties, but on the whole, I'm pretty happy with that. Let's click this. We will, of course, loot and raise, I think. Give it a second. Pick up an earthen rod. Okay. Defeated. Right. Let's let you guys rest up. And now, because we managed to get our Khan of Pleasure, or Excess, we can now get our hands on a few new units. So, I'm going to get weird. Oh, the dogs have done me so proud, though. I don't want to get rid of the dogs. We're not going to do that. I'll keep the ogres until they die off, but let's get rid of you two. And I guess I'll get rid of you two as well, so we can get our hands on our Slagors. Now what I like. Armoured, armor-piercing, harbingers of pain. So if I click on this a second. These Beastigors bear the mark of the Dark Prince. Okay. So I know they obviously give me armor-piercing, but what about here? Hide, immune to psychology. Is that it maybe? The fact that Slaanesh normally gives immune to psychology when you used to do it in tabletop Warhammer Fantasy. So I presume that's what it is. Aura of Slaanesh. -A leadership for everybody nearby. Okay. Prime a few upgraded, we already knew, and hatred we already got. Okay. Let's grab a bunch of you now. Right, so you guys are rested up, everybody else has moved. Let's quickly level people up, and then we're going to have to bring this episode to an end. We're already gone over the 30-minute mark by the time I do the recaps of the battles and stuff like that. So yeah, we'll finish off Savage Beast for you for the moment, Malagost. Jindari, let's see, did you get your chariot? You did, right. Let's go then for Woundmaker. Oh no, hang on, did we finish over? No, we didn't. Okay, let's give you that. Zahatori. Oh, if only we can get Darkling Spirits. Summon in those Cygors for the battles. But we won't get that for a few levels. And we'll get that at level 16 too. Okay. In that case, let's finish off the Wyvern. And I'm going to go for Smoke and Mirrors just for that bonus for speed across the map. Gore, what can I give you? I can't quite give you a chariot yet, that's fine. Let's go then for Thick Skinned, because I think at this point, after fighting all those dwarves, I'm sure he could have scavenged more than enough armor plates to upgrade his armor like that. Then for you, Fildorf, we will give you Evasion. Ready for you to start looking into some of these. Transformation of Kadar, being able to get a Manticore to come in the fight will be useful. Darzius the Flesh Eater, let's give you Deadly Blade. Oh no, hang on. We can give you unique ones. Strength of the Land, plus 23 armor, 5% missile resistance. Melee attack. Out of these options, I actually feel Strength of the Land is more fitting, especially again because he's been facing dwarves. Having that ability to increase the armor for nearby troops and that, yeah, let's go for that with you. Okay, Sneizehl, let's give you Deadly Blade, and we'll go for Thick Skinned as well. Horde upgrades for Sahatori, that's fine. We'll be sorting out his upgrades in the following turn. And that should be everybody. Let's, yeah. You've already moved? Let's go for it. Oh, here comes Rudy von Altdorf. The plan worked. Oh, we got spotted. Damn. Well, it says a close victory. We could potentially lose a unit of Centaurs, but that's fine by me. I'd rather not have to deal with myself personally, Herdstone rocket batteries and war wagons, so yeah, goodbye. There we go. We can easily get some more units back later. We will go for the captives, get that extra replenishment back up. Okay, Solend is still busy down at Karak Asgahar. Might end up sending Gore down there to deal with them eventually. Uh-oh. This could be a problem. Yep, it's a problem. So, Kindreds of Orion have declared war on us. Now, if it was just them, I would bet on us because we got the higher strength rank, but the fact they're bringing in, Durfu's faction, the Spirits of Alpha-Lauren, that could be a problem too. Hopefully we're not going to see much of them as we focus on the Empire, unless they start expanding out into the Empire. But I think we've got a ton of problems to deal with over here already. Considering we've got Reichland, which is still a powerful faction, we still need to finish off the Dwarves. We've got half my forces in the World Edge Mountains. I think once we've dealt with Karas and Karak, I'm definitely bringing them back over to the Empire so they can join in the ravaging and devastation here. Because otherwise we're going to find ourselves quite outnumbered, I think, by our enemies. It might be a good idea for me just to wait up with Molokh, in order to let everybody catch up. Let him just stay where he is, draw the enemies to him so he can just focus on eliminating the Empire's forces there. But otherwise, yeah, I feel that might be the best thing for us to do. But let's click through these, make sure we just check them out. Picked up the Eye of Morsleeb, a Cygor now. Cool. Warherd revealed, yep. Warherd Ravages, extra movement range, happy with that. Architect. And there we go, we'll leave things here for today. So next episode, we'll send Sahatori and Malagast down here in order to finish off the Dwarves. We'll go after Mount Squighorn, Pillars of Grungni, and so on. Might feel tempted to go after the Forest of Doom, not too sure yet. They are hostile towards us, but our relationship is improving. So it might be in our better interest just to destroy them, take the settlements, put a Herdstone up so we can get a few points at least, and then, yeah, start jumping back over towards the Empire. While we do that, then, Gork, the Earthshaker, can finish off Karakun. Hopefully, maybe even get him down to Fort Sol. We'll get Molokh to maybe go down there and deal with them. Otherwise, he'll just stay here in Fieldorf. But, yeah, we'll finish that next episode. For now, though, guys, thank you for watching today's one. Hope you enjoyed, and that you do join me next time for some more Warhammer. But until then, everybody, take care, and goodbye for now.